Hello and welcome to the Pax8 launch briefing. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We really appreciate your time. I'm Laura Fleming. I'll be your guide today on the launch briefing. I am the Director of Events for UK and Ireland. So over to you, Daniel.
Hi, I'm Daniel Reeves, CEO of the Computer Clinic Vista and a Pax8 partner. Let's have some fun.
Daniel, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm good. The weather's cooled down a little bit. It's nice.
Daniel, first question for you. And how did you first hear about Pax8?
Yeah. So I heard about Pax8 4 years ago, I think, maybe 5, before you were in the UK. There was this thing that Pax8 would come into the UK. All of our fellow IT counterparts in America use Pax8. A lot of them in a lot of the forums and groups I was on shouted about Pax8 like mad, going, they're awesome, they're amazing. I was with a smaller provider here in the UK and waiting for the day for Pax8 to land. You guys landed and it was like, contacted you guys, right, and was passed straight over to you, Jack, to be my account manager. And yeah, the history started from there.
It did indeed. And I was just looking back actually on the record. So the Computer Clinic Vista joined us in July 2021. So yeah, definitely in one of those, definitely in the early adopters range, that's certainly for sure. It definitely took us a little bit of time to get the market warmed up to us. As you mentioned, we had a bit of a presence and reputation in the US, and it was really our job to come in and showcase that we could replicate that here in the UK market. And I think big thanks to partners such as yourself for taking that leap of faith, really, because whilst we may have had a bit of a presence over there, it's a whole different ball game coming into a totally different market, right? And doing the same 100%. Here. So tell me, Daniel, what was it that most intrigued you about the idea of partnering with Pax8?
So I think it was more of a thing of what I'd heard about Pax8 was the way in which they treated their partners, the way in which they listened to their partners, the way in which they're there to assist their partners. Now, we hear this about a lot of, in the IT industry, a lot of providers we hear it about, and it's like, yeah, they're good at this. And then when you actually talk to them, they're not so great. But with Pax8, they do what they say on the tin, is the easiest way to put it, I think. And the good things I'd heard about it were actually true. And Pax8 assisted me in the migration. So me moving from a smaller provider to Pax8, there was a 3-month gap in which my smaller provider tied me in and was like, no, you're not going anywhere. Pax8 assisted me throughout those 3 months to build out everything so that when switch off happened, it linked across, slid across, bang, we were with Pax8, our licensing was there, everything was migrated over.
I guess that was, and I'm glad to hear that we've lived up to the reputation, and I personally didn't let you down there, Daniel.
You didn't, no.
On the topic of the transition, because I appreciate actually, when you moved over in July 2021, we were still very much in the legacy Microsoft licensing age. Someone was asking how easy is it to transition licensing to Pax8?
That's one of the things that helped massively in our transition, our move over, was that my company doesn't have admin staff. We only have engineers. I only employ engineers. So to take time out of the engineers' diary to then go and build all that and do all of that, or out of my diary to go and build and do all of that, it saved me a mass amount of time and funds, obviously, because I wasn't paying engineers to do it. It was being done for me.
Absolutely. So since moving to Pax8, Daniel, what distribution improvements have you seen since partnering with Pax8?
Tom mentioned it earlier on when he was talking about the provisioning on the portal, the ability to, where he mentioned it takes 1 to 3 minutes. It's true. You literally go and provision a license, and by the time I've flicked pages and logged into my partner portal, my license is there ready to assign. That's one of the biggest helps for my team possible. And the difference in distributing in provider, moving from where we went to where we are now with Pax8, it's literally like night and day.
I'm glad to hear that. Daniel, tell us a little bit about your business, because we've got lots of different people on here today, lots of different sized MSPs, I'm sure ranging from small startup boutiques and maybe some larger MSPs that have been going for a little while. How have you gone about scaling your business too?
So we've been going 15 years, and originally, like a lot of MSPs or solution providers, it's word of mouth. And then it has been through good referral programs. So we do a referral program with our clients where if they refer somebody to us, they get, and we have different scales on it, whether it is a meal or a voucher, or dependent on the value of the referral to us. That and social media. So we've pushed full tilt into social media, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, doing content to actually benefit and help people, and actually give other small business owners, other MSPs, even clients, information that is valuable and actionable to them at no cost. So it doesn't cost them, because I'm a great believer in you put stuff out there, you get stuff back, and it works for us at the moment. We've partnered with we've partnered with a few different Pax8 partners who have IT providers who we then pass business through each other, because they have a skill set that I don't have in-house. We have a skill set that they don't have in-house, and the business pass back and forwards is massive.
Brilliant. Daniel, what's been your experience with our support team and their responses?
I mean, from the beginning, from the outset, I think the level of support, the level of knowledge that your team has is massive. There are, with every new company that comes into the UK, there's always hiccups, there's always little things, and there's that get to know period as well. So engineers getting to know the engineers they're talking to, because we remember the engineers we talk to, because and the information, as long as you give enough detailed information on the ticket, you will get good results back. I think it was Tom earlier on that mentioned put in as much information as you can. Don't just tweet description of the problem. It is that thing. If you can give enough information, it gets pushed to the right levels of where it needs to be, rather than it being the generic drop the first line asks you the same questions. We're all working IT, right? So we've all got a level of technical ability. So we've done a lot of the base stuff first. So as long as you're giving enough information, like, this is the problem, we've gone through this, we've done this, here's a screenshot of the result after this, and that type of information, it then gets pushed to the higher levels, and you will get responses back which you can actually use. So yeah, I mean, the level on the support team, we have to use your support team for the more complicated stuff, or for some of the more complicated stuff, especially on some of the new products, because you guys are bringing on new vendors all the time. As every time I speak to you, Jack, the first question is always, what have you got? What's new?
Yeah.
So yeah, and anytime we've had to talk to one of your vendors where it's something you can't do in-house, that connection and the actual one surprise for me, I think, I don't know if I've said this to you before, Jack, but one surprise for me is the way in which the vendor treats you as a Pax8 partner to the way a vendor would treat you if you're not a Pax8 partner. There is a difference in it. Me being with another provider before, and also speaking to other vendors before I was a Pax8 partner, but then when you speak to them on the phone, it's just as though there's a little bit more. It's just another level.
I'm glad to hear that, and I haven't heard that feedback from you before, Daniel. So I appreciate you sharing that. We've got a question here from Nikki Farrell. Question for Daniel. I love the focus Pax8 have on culture and people. Was this something that was important to you when moving to them, and has it positively impacted your business and client relationships?
Yeah, it's for me, it's all about relationships. So if I can backtrack on the answer a little bit. So the way in which we work naturally as a company, it's all about the person. When I hire engineers, it's not about their technical ability. It's about how they are as a person, because I can teach technical skills. What I can't teach is personal skills, the human skills, to be a good human being and not be a robot, right? We work in the tech industry. A lot of IT engineers can be fairly robotic and don't have those personal skills. So we hire on that. So when we work with partners, when we look for new partners or new vendors, especially when it's going to be as integral or as ingrained as our relationship with Pax8 is, they have to have the same ethos and the same thought process as us. They have to have that thing of, it's not all about the money, because we all want to make money. Yeah, 100%, that's what we're in business for. but it's not all about the money. It's also about being a solution provider, providing the right solution, not fitting somebody into a box. And it's about actually having people that you can talk to and explain, well, this is what's going on at the moment, and what can I do to get past this, or how can I help my client to get past this? And having those types of communication and that conversation with human beings, rather than it being, oh, well, yeah, they're a client of 20, so they must have this license, or they must have this product, or we don't fit people into boxes. And Pax8 don't try and fit their partners into boxes either.
I would agree with that.
Answer.
Daniel, I've got a question here, pardon me, that I think would actually be answered better by yourself. So if you had to answer this in 30 seconds, how easy is it to transition the integration of a PSA solution if a partner moves from one to another?
Fairly easy. It takes a bit of brain power, but the help Pax8 give you when it's talking about integration with the PSA is, yes, if it's one of the ones that they're already integrated with, even if it's not, because you're now integrating with Synchro. I saw, Jack, on your thing, and originally when I first looked at Synchro 2 years ago, maybe, it wasn't an integration, but the Pax8 team still gave me as much information and assistance as they possibly could to see whether I could integrate with it. So yeah, it's fairly easy as long as you give as much information as you possibly can.
Perfect. Hi, Daniel. What service offering has partnering with Pax8 enabled you to offer to your clients that you couldn't before? That's a question from Mark Wood.
So we now offer SentinelOne, which we weren't before because we didn't have a good enough education and grasp on the different levels to use it for. And we actually bundle that with our cybersecurity package, which is a suite of software that we also get from Pax8 that we've been able to bundle together. And one of the key things is the NFRs for the different products and using them yourselves. So you're actually practicing what you preach for a start off as a solution provider, but also you get to use it and play with it and break it. We like to break stuff and break it so that when your client does come to you and go, oh, this doesn't do this bit, you know what the answer is to it because you've broken it before.
Perfect. Daniel, I want to thank you so much for your time here today. It's always a pleasure speaking with you, sir. And thank you, Daniel.
Thanks, guys.
Leave.
And we're done. That's a wrap.